Okay, so we're in the main lobby here. I'm not going to spend too long. I'll just take you through the character creation and I'll let you know a little bit about the details of the options later on. So we're going to go with the Ultra Original Peak. How many times? That many? 25, good enough. Prior occupation. I don't think this really has too much of an effect on your character build, but it may in the future. They may plan to add something. So we'll stick with a male. Some skin colors. I'm not going to say too much, but they haven't gone very dark on that. Male hair. So yeah, you've got a fair few options. I'm not really too fussed because we're just doing a bit of a playthrough. So yeah, you've got your few accessories and things, eye bags, war paint, chuck a bit of that on. All right, let's get into it. That's good enough for now. So we've got a fair few options here that we can change just to balance the game in any way that we really please. I won't be going through and changing anything today, but you can make it extremely hard or extremely easy with lots of loot or very little loot. So that's about the gist of it. We'll go on standard. And we won't worry about any of the other settings for now, so we'll just start the game. I don't think we've got an intro video into this one or any cutscenes or anything just yet. It is a small indie game, so you can't expect too much out of it. I think the development team is literally one person, so yeah, you can't really expect too much. But the game itself runs pretty smooth. It looks pretty good, considering it's a low poly video game. If you've played other games, something similar would probably be Project Zomboid, but this is obviously a 3D version and it's not as fleshed out when it comes to the mechanics. So I've got quite a few hours in Project Zomboid and I really do enjoy the game. So I think we should be able to. So basically, if you hold your right mouse button and then click your left. So if I click my left, I don't know, he seems to be attacking. All right, let's see how we go. That didn't work. No, he doesn't seem to want to attack down below him. So you can go into a first person. I think with weapons, it's not perfect. I'm sure there is a button to attack things that are lower than you. Doesn't seem to be much going on there. Just hanging out with old mate. So we'll leave him anyway, because he doesn't really matter. We can get away from him at the moment. What we want to try and do is find some decent loot. It looks like we've got a vehicle in there that we can quickly just grab, which is a very lucky find early game. So even if a vehicle's smoking like this, it's usually still going to run, but it's just very close to death. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, please consider hitting the like and sub buttons. All right, back to the show. So we're a little bit mobile now, which is good. We can go and find anything that we want. That noise can draw a lot of the zombies out if we want to go back and loot that. Which, I mean, ultimately we sort of do because we need some bits and pieces. So we'll jump back out again. We're going to have to go a little stealth, I think, because... Oh no, we do have a weapon. We do! I completely forgot. Okay, so rags, I think that'll patch me up too, right? So it gave me 10% HP. So now we've got a weapon. It's now 4 slot. Let's see what we can do here. So we're still going to have to be a little bit stealth because everything is a bit dangerous. I think we might have a little bit of loot over here. So you do have to hold the button to loot things. And we'll grab that and run away quickly because there's some baddies. So you're always better off trying to take them one at a time. Now, because I'm already low health, it's not ideal to stay too close. I am managing to stagger them with my knife, which is good. And then you can loot all the bodies too, so they have a few bits and pieces on them here or there. Looks like that might have been a better knife. Hopefully we can get an attack on this guy. Alright, we did it. Cheeky little bastard was a bit of a pain in the ass. Okay, so that knife has 16 damage. That has 14. Lower stamina drain, so it is better. So we'll change that out because it won't just change over what's in the slot. You have to actually empty the slot, then put the new item in. And with the backpacks, you can, unless you change the option, you can stack backpacks inside backpacks. So you can sort of have infinite storage to carry around. So this has forced the zombies to change their pathing to try and find me. Bloody dickhead. Look at him go. Alright, so we'll come in here. We're going to have to fight. Give me my knife. There is still, they get a little bit stuck on furniture here or there. Their pathing isn't perfect. But it's certainly good enough to just sort of get into the game. I've put in a pretty solid amount of time in my main game in this. And I have really enjoyed it. Once you get some really cool weapons and cool armor, other things to craft, and there is modular building for houses and bases if that's something that you want to do. I usually just claim something that's already a reasonable structure to live in. Okay, so wooden planks, cloth, money. We definitely want money, so we can hold control and left click on that. And we'll chuck that in the backpack. We're probably not going to use it right now. If anything's a small item, takes one slot, and it's worth $50, those things I find are the best to go and sell to your vendors and things like that. It's more about the value per size that it holds in, that it takes in your inventory, I guess, is the most efficient way of finding things to sell. So we'll go and have a look, and you can do quick look, but sometimes it will stuff up and make a noise and attract all the zombies. So the bunk beds would be handy to sleep at night. I guess, I don't know if it's really worth taking right now, but we will anyway. We've already looted that one, so we'll go upstairs. And there's nothing. So the game isn't entirely fleshed out. There's still buildings that aren't 100% finished. They don't have all their furnishings and loot and things like that. But for what it does have at the moment, and I think for the price of the game, it's definitely well worth it if you're into zombie survival. There's been a lot of updates and improvement even since I've started playing. It was a little bit frustrating, I guess, the melee combat before they changed a few things. So it's good to see that they're listening to the community and adding things in. We'll get a currency briefcase. You don't necessarily need it right now, early game, but it's something that you're going to want to carry with you all the time, basically, because you will constantly be stacking up cash. Search over here. So we've got our first weapons. Hunting rifle, 308, that's alright. The pistol, you won't be able to silence a revolver, which is a bit of a shame. 100% take a torch, we need that. Sleeping bag is perfect for this early game. So you can sort of plop that down and pick it back up wherever you want. And that'll just allow you to get through the night times quicker. And it's worth searching everything. There is higher tier loot around the map that you'll find. Gunpowder, 100% keep that. Unless you've boosted the loot chances, you will need to craft a lot of bullets, I should say. I do usually collect those little props to put around bases and stuff like that, but we haven't really. I guess I might be able to just show you. So if you go into your inventory and click on place, so right click and place, and then you can just place a barrier down. There's lots of little props and stuff like that you can add, and it's good that it's anywhere over the map you can build. There's no restriction there that I'm aware of. So yeah, and you place that, you got yourself a concrete barrier that can force zombies to go into a certain area. You might have barbed wire there or some form of trap. So that's a good little thing. And then hold it. You can pick that one back up, chuck it in your inventory, and off you go. Now, I think we've gotten pretty much everything around here. This may be a little higher tier loot. These ones usually have decent stuff. So obviously I'm going to need ammo for everything that I'm running at the moment too. And a sledgehammer is good for collecting scrap metal off vehicles. You've got your gas cans, you need that to fuel up your vehicles. Rope you'll use for crafting something important. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, so it's something that you would keep. Antiseptic's going to help with bandages, and you're going to use a few of those because you will get hit. So it doesn't look like there's anything up there. And you get used to it. Generally, the searchable props look the same. So that's got storage space in it. So you definitely want to chuck that one on. So we'll just drop that because we don't need it. We're not going to sell it. It's not a big deal. And then slot that one over in there. And then we see we get an extra 5 slots over the side here. So that'll keep us going. You always want to get upgrades for your equipment as soon as you can, I guess. You can find a lot of cheeky spots that have high tier gear that aren't the most dangerous to discover. Batteries will come in handy sort of later in the game, but not entirely necessary right now. So for some reason we stopped attacking. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Okay, so things are looking a little bit grim here. Now, I'm pretty sure... No. So we're going to have to find the goods that we need to create bandages and whatnot. I'm just going to have a quick little look back on these dead bodies here because that's going to come in handy. So now... Okay, so it's V for a little melee push. Now if we go into crafting, we should be able to make, what do I need here? Rags. So we're going to craft them. That's going to use our cloth. And then we should potentially, 2 of those, 2 of those. There we go. So we've crafted some bandages, which will give me 30 health, which I 100% need, and we'll use a bit more. So you're always collecting cloth and antiseptic, especially early game, to keep yourself alive. And you got your crafting bench there, which is your original crafting bench. Once you craft that one, you'll be able to craft a few other benches and a few more items. Eventually you can craft all your ammos and grenades, and I think Molotovs were in there already. So we'll get out of here. There's not much loot left. And we'll see if we can find another town. Once you get a GPS, you'll be able to locate where you actually are on the map. But until then, I have no great clue. So we have run out of fuel in that one. So I'm just going to go back up and grab the fuel quickly and chuck it in the car. Okay, so fall damage is reasonably significant as well. So, and get your bullet casings, 100% bullet casings. Obviously going to need those to pack your gunpowder in. Okay, so I've brought the fuel back to the vehicle, and there should just be an option on the side here. So get in vehicle, just find where the fuel, probably not on that side. So you got your refuel option there, and just F is your main activation key. Wait for that to fill up. And off we go. Repairing vehicles is also quite similar, basically the same thing. You'll get a bit of a kit, and you'll click the button on it just like that and stand there and wait for it to fill back up. The vehicles do take quite a lot of damage from hitting zombies and things like that, so it's not very viable to use them as something to clear out a large area. You'll get key cards, which will allow you to get into higher tier areas with loots and bosses and all sorts of things. So we'll keep the briefcase, and I always store them in the briefcase just so I know what I've got and where they are. And it just sort of helps with inventory management. Sometimes you'll find, you might go off to something like this and find a bit of a bunker in the rocks. So I'm not sure if there's actually one here. No, so you might just find a random bunker, which you can actually use as a base. I like to keep a little bit closer to civilization with my bases. I like the idea of zombies being able to attack me. Maybe not extremely often, but something to sort of keep yourself on your toes. So always get your weapon back out when you get out of a car. And I'm actually bleeding without bandages, so I will die 100%. I can't actually stop this. So the best thing I can do now is die, restart, and possibly try and find my loot. So you're going to do this a few times, basically. Until you get a reasonable spawn where you get a little bit of gear to sort of keep yourself going. The main things you're looking for are weapon and backpack, basically. Food and water, keep yourself going a little bit. There are wild animals and things like that in the world that you can kill and get some meat off them, and basically things don't look ideal around this section. You can also fish as well once you get the gear, so. What we might be able to do, the typical zombie game strategy basically, is we're going to gather all of them that we can, and we're going to go for a wander off into the bushes. Yeah, look at him. Oh, hey, whoa. I was just about to shit talk him and he got me. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is far enough away, but hopefully if I turn around and run, they'll de-aggro by the time I get back. And I might be a little bit safer to loot this. You do have a stamina bar, so it's something to stay on top of as well. You run out of that, you are screwed. So this is most likely just going to have fuel. It's not going to have any great loot to keep me alive. Take it just because why not? I guess we've got to put the knife into our slot. Have a look in here. You're going to find food on your shelves and stuff like that. So all your loot's sort of relevant, I guess, to the places. It made a liar of me. Surgical mask. Can we put that on? Just because why not? We don't necessarily need it, but... Nothing in that one. We'll fast search because I don't think there's anything left around. Definitely take the backpack. Take that one. Can't loot that. Sometimes you can loot those bins. And that's about the gist of that place. So any of these burning vehicles that you see like this, if you get a sledgehammer and whack it, you'll get scrap metal. Or they added a new feature where you can just hold F. So you used to have to use a sledgehammer and whack these things to get the metal out of them, but you can just hold F by the looks of things. And there should be some metal around here somewhere. I don't know if that's... That went straight into my inventory. So 13 scrap metal straight from that. That used to be quite the process. They made that much easier. And basically just start jogging in a random direction and see how you end up. Generally, you're going to stick to the roads. That looks like one of those fast guys. And they are very painful. I believe they are a high tier enemy. They are obviously move faster, but I believe they have more health or damage or something as well. So as long as you attack first, you get a stagger on them. Attack first, if I can speak properly. Take our torch. Sounds like we've got some more company around here. So yeah, best thing you can do, same as any zombie game really, is just try and bait them out one by one. Take that. What did this one have? It's always worth checking your dead bodies early game. A little bit later on, I guess I do for certain things still. Mainly just ammo and money. Once you've got enough stuff, you're all good. But sometimes you'll find a bit of gold, a little bit of food there. You need a can opener for the cans, naturally. Sort out this bloke quickly. Sorry if my cam's shaking while I'm doing this. I'm sort of spamming the button. My table doesn't seem the most sturdy, apparently. I'll try not to get too excited. Okay. Oh. You freak out, hear a noise. Wait until you start doing the big bunkers and stuff like that. It gets creepy. Bit of 9mm ammo and some gunpowder. Generally, you're going to find 9mm and 45 ACP rounds much more often than anything else. So you'll generally be running those guns. But you can get some good fully automatic Glocks. Suppressed fully automatic Glocks. And I usually use some form of assault rifle beyond that. 5.56 of some description. Concrete, it's a little bit later game. We're not too worried about it. We're not even going to worry about the scrap. We'll put that away. And I guess we'll have a quick look in the building. There is a large truck you can drive. I'm not sure how much damage they take if you run into zombies and animals and things like that. So we've got our jacket back, which is good. Always need extra storage slots. So there's your vehicle repair kit. So if you find a vehicle that's damaged or you do damage your vehicle, you can just quickly get out and fix it up. I always get these lamps for bases. I will show you quickly. So sort of place it anywhere in the world and they just don't use electricity. Turn that one on. And that gives you a little light source for your base. So you always sort of just collect them and place them around. And that's just going to save getting a generator and things for now. And running all your fuel, and eventually you'll get there. You can get batteries to replace for your torch and things like that as well. It's getting to nighttime, which is no good. And you can charge the batteries as well. So eventually you craft a battery charger. The game is, for such a small team, as I said, I think it's only one bloke. Very consistent with updates, major content updates. I'm not going to say they're the biggest updates ever, but you've got to take into consideration. This could be an enemy camp. It looks like it is. Yeah, so those zombies are glowing and they, I think, either give radiation or cause bleeding straight away or something. They have some form of effect. And there's a green type of zombie as well. I think the green ones are radiation, so... Basically, early game, don't go near any of the colored zombies. So we'll clear out this church, hopefully. Hey. You got a bit of a hit on me. We need some antiseptic and some bandages. I'm just going to use that. So we've got some bandages. We just need antiseptic. And I believe where's our torch? No battery for the torch. That's convenient. So that's the noise it'll make if you fast search and it fails. And that's going to attract more zombies. If you're up 3 flights of stairs in a building with only one entry point and you do that and 30 zombies come up the stairs, unless you're very well equipped, you're dead. So I know there's potentially one more bit of loot, but I can't see much at the moment. It really doesn't look too bad. I think we can manage to push forth. So we've got a bit of a tower in the distance. Looks like some form of POI. And yeah, I'll just show you over the map quickly. There's a fair few towns and villages and cities. There's a big dock over here. You have radiated areas that you will need to get gas masks to go and discover. And there'll be lots of bosses and radiated dogs and all sorts of things trying to kill you. So a relatively large map. I know it doesn't look massive, but I think they've scaled it well with vehicle speed and fuel consumption and things like that to sort of keep the game moving along. All of this section up here is a little bit new. I haven't really been through here. Besides that section, I do run a lot and I don't think they really changed it. But all the way up through the dirt through there, all the biome, a little bit different. So yeah, occasionally you might look off into the trees and see a house or something in the distance, or a road takes you off to a random place. which they can be good as a base location or just a quick little place to hide out. It's not too dark at night time, so we're not too bad off. That's a deer. There's more deer. We're not going to be able to kill them. I usually get a sniper rifle and it usually takes about 2 headshots to kill them. What's going on here? Just aim and swing. I think that's... It's just another deer or something. You hear things in the night in a survival game, or a zombie survival game. More scrap metal there. Looks like there's a light up that way. I do feel like we're in the north, so... Where have we come from? You can generally potentially decipher where you are just by looking at the POIs on the map. So it doesn't look... Looks like we've just got some vehicle lights on. Okay, so... It's a road leading to a bit of a construction site. He's got something that we need. Even those few little scraps here or there early game is amazing. As long as you're 1v1 with the zombies in this game too, there's no great reason to freak out. But once it starts getting to like 10 and you've got a shitty knife, it's probably time to get worried. There is a bit of a stealth mechanic too. You can crouch and sneak up on zombies. Obviously lower the amount of sound that you're making. But I feel, for the fact you don't want to get trapped in situations where you're stuck in a building and there's 30 zombies outside trying to kill you, you sort of want to kill everything on the way in. That way you don't have that issue. What's going on here? Oh no, he put his knife away. Stop it. Oh crap. Get your knife out. Okay. And obviously you're pretty much looking at upgrading any weapon straight away. Anything you can find. I prefer one-handed axes and things like that. The sledgehammer and two-handed axes, they're all very slow to swing. And if you're getting swamped by enemies, you get a slow animation and it's just not ideal. Even if you do that extra damage. So that should have some extra slots. Toolbox just to sort everything else, sort everything out, put your tools in. It's certainly sort of something that you'll have in your base eventually. Wire cutters are also something that you should always carry on you because there will be props that you can loot, but you can only loot if you have the wire cutters and the bolt cutters. So wire cutters and bolt cutters you basically want to carry all the time. If they're in your backpack, I don't think they work. So something like that's pretty good. Get rid of that. Way more damage too. So that's at 16, 2 stamina drain. 24 with 5 stamina drain. A little bit better critical. It technically might not be much better really. At all. Let's see what's in here. If we could see anything. I don't think there's anything because it would have come up with an option. So we've come down to a small building on a loop. I'm just going to have a quick look to see if there's anything similar to that. I no longer believe that we are on the north section of the map. Keep jogging and see what we come across. The early game is a lot like that. You're going to be struggling to stay alive for a little while. You're going to have to respawn in random spots. I wouldn't worry about too much. Wouldn't worry too much about losing your kit. Early game, it's just going to happen, and eventually you'll be able to plant your feet somewhere, get a bit of a base started and a respawn location. I could probably get a respawn location now, but I don't really like the area. I'd rather get closer to some larger POIs and potential for better loot. All right, that's it for this one, ladies and gents.